So let's see today's lovely spicy yam fritters or Suranache kaap. Now here I've soaked 1/4 cup of tamarind in 1 cup of water and set aside. Now we're going to take off the peel of the yam or the suran. Now one tip I'd like to give you here is just apply a little bit of oil on your hands before you start peeling, and after you start peeling just wash your hands really well with soap and water, because this peel can cause a little bit of itchiness in your hands. Now once you've done that, wash the suran thoroughly and then cut them into thin slices like this. Cut it into thin slices like this and put it into the tamarind water. So cut very thin slices. The thinner the slices are, the more tasty and crispy and crunchy it gets. Now I'm going to put all of this into my pressure pan along with the tamarind water. And now I'm going to pressure cook this for only one whistle on a high. So when the whistle goes off, just put the gas top off or the heat off. Now I'm going to make the paste or the chutney for this yam fritter. So I've taken some green chilies, about I think 8 or 10 green chilies, because these are the light green chilies, so they're not really spicy. And then I've taken about 10 to 12 cloves of garlic. Now the yam has been cooked. I've taken it out of the pressure pan and let it cool to room temperature. So now it's nice and soft also. Now we're just going to grind these green chilies and the garlic or the lasoon into a very coarse paste. I'm also going to add salt to taste. This helps in getting a nice coarse paste also. So just grind this and you'll get a paste like this. Transfer this paste to a bowl. Now I'm going to make a mixture of rice flour, that is half a cup of rice flour, tandoorats peat, and I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of fine rava or semolina. Mix these two really together. This is going to be our coating for the yam fritters or the Suranache kaap. Now I'm going to apply this green paste on both sides of the cooked yam. And just dip it into this flour and rava mixture and set it aside. Now, because we just cooked it for one whistle in the pressure pan, it doesn't become very soft. If you cook it for a very long time, then the suran becomes very, very mushy, and you are not able to, it's not firm like this. So the trick is to cook it just for one whistle on high. And also we cook it along with the tamarind because it takes out the itchiness that this suran or this yam generally has. I just thought I'd pop in and let you know about my Amazon storefront. Go and check it out. The link is down in the description box below. It's products that I generally buy on Amazon or I would recommend with regard to best prices and good quality. So go and check out the link. Now I'm just going to heat some oil in a pan, and I like to use my dosa tawa because it's flat. It really helps to get these surans nice and golden brown and crispy. And then once the oil is hot, I'm just going to place them on the tawa and I'm going to fry them, shallow fry them till they're nice and golden brown on both sides. So you can cook it on between low and medium heat. And once they're golden brown in color on one side, just turn them over and cook the other side. You might have to do this 2 or 3 times because you want to get them nice and crispy and golden brown. Now these are an ideal, it's an accompaniment to any, any dish that you have for lunch or dinner, or you can even have them all by themselves. They're really delicious, but I love to have them with some varan bhat. They make an ideal accompaniment to varan bhat. So I hope you give this recipe a try, guys. Welcome back to Akshata's Recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today's recipe is a very delicious dum aloo recipe in which I'm going to be using small baby potatoes. If you don't get the small baby potatoes, you can also use small potatoes, or medium sized potatoes. The recipe is very simple and it's really delicious, and it goes amazingly well with some rotis or chapatis or naan or even a simple rice and dal or pulao. So let's just jump straight ahead into today's lovely dum aloo recipe. So friends, let's see today's delicious dum aloo recipe. So now here I've taken 20 baby potatoes and I've washed them really well. And now I'm going to use a peeler and peel the potatoes really well. Now if you don't get your hands on baby potatoes, you can always use small potatoes or medium sized potatoes. But this dish really comes out, perfect if you use these little baby potatoes. So now after peeling the potatoes, I'm just going to use a sharp knife. You can also use a fork and just make little incisions like this. So what this does is when we make the gravy will nicely, go into the potatoes and flavor the potatoes really well. So this is an important step. Now once that is done, I'm going to heat about 5 tablespoons of oil. And we're going to fry these potatoes till they're very nicely done, that is dark brown, golden brown in color. So keep an eye on them and just keep turning them in between till they get nicely fried. So I put a timer and this took me exactly 7 minutes to get them to this point. After that, just take them out in a separate bowl. Now I'm going to take out most of the oil from the pan and I'm just going to use a tablespoon of the oil. And now here I have 1 large onion chopped, about 10 cashew nuts, 1 inch of ginger, 6 cloves of garlic, and about 4 dried red chilies. So I'm going to add all of this to this oil. And we're going to fry this really, really well till the onions become nice and translucent. So again, this took me about 2 minutes for it to really fry nicely. So do that for about 2 minutes. And after that, once the onions soften, we're going to add 2 medium-sized tomatoes that we've chopped fine. And I'm going to fry this till the tomatoes also become nice and soft. So that took me another 2 minutes. Now we're going to turn off the heat and we're going to let this mixture completely cool down to room temperature. And then we're going to grind this without adding any water to a very, very fine paste like this. Now I'm going to add a little bit, about a tablespoon of the same oil that we used in the beginning for frying the potatoes. So a tablespoon or so. And now I'm going to add, now here we have 2 bay leaves, 1 big elaichi, 2 small elaichis, 1 inch of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cumin or jeera, and about 10 peppercorns. So we're going to add all of these whole masalas or whole spices to the 1 tablespoon of oil. And we're going to fry this till it nicely flavors up the oil. So keep it on a very low flame. And just for about half a minute, we're going to fry them so that they nicely flavor the oil. And once that is done, we're going to add our paste that we ground to the whole spices that we fried. And we're going to mix this in really, really well. So we're going to fry this masala or this paste for about half a minute with the whole spices. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder. Mix it in well. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of coriander powder or dhania powder, half a teaspoon of cumin powder or jeera powder, 2 teaspoons of Kashmiri red chili powder for the color, and 1 teaspoon of dry mango powder or amchur powder. So mix all of this really well together. Keep your flame on very low because we're adding powder spices. So mix all of this really nicely together. The flavor, the aroma in my kitchen is just amazing with all these beautiful Indian spices. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cover this and keep it aside for about 5 minutes on a very low flame till all of the masala gets nicely fried. And now I'm going to add 1 green chili that I've chopped fine. So keep stirring in between when you cover and keep it for 5 minutes. And now you can see that there's some oil oozing out of this masala. Now I'm going to add 1.5 cup of water. Now what I did is the mixer jar in which I ground the masala, I added 1.5 cup water to that, rinsed out all the masala, and I'm going to use that water itself. So now mix it in really well. If you want it a little thinner, then you can add a little more water, say about a 1/4 cup of water more, and mix all of this really nicely together. And now I'm going to add some salt to taste. And now we're going to add our fried potatoes back into the curry or the gravy. Mix everything in well. And now you're going to cover and keep this for 15 minutes on a very low flame, stirring in between. And after 15 minutes, you'll see that it has nicely thickened and the masalas have all come together very well. The potatoes are nicely coated with the masala. So now I'm just going to add 1/2 teaspoon of homemade garam masala. I leave a link to the recipe of how I make my garam masala at home. Mix all of this well together. You see how the curry has nicely thickened up. I just can't wait to dig into this. And then I'm going to turn off the flame and I'm just going to add some lovely fresh coriander leaves that I've chopped as a garnish. And we're going to mix in the coriander leaves too. And that's it, guys. Your lovely dum aloo recipe is all ready to enjoy. Now, I love having this with some naan. And of course, I'm going to add just 1/2 teaspoon of clarified butter and ghee at the end. And then we're just going to cover and keep it aside for about a minute or two. And that really flavors and elevates the flavor of this beautiful dish. So have this with naan or roti or, puris or chapatis. It's just fabulous. Chawli or black-eyed beans instantly. I'm going to take about 1 cup of them in my pressure pan and I'm going to roast them for at least 5 minutes. Then I'm going to just rinse them thrice under running water. And then I'm just going to add about 1.5 cups of water to the pressure pan and I'm going to cook it on 1 whistle on high and simmer for 15 minutes. And then once the cooker is cool, you can see that your chawli is already nice and cooked. So this is the fastest way to cook it. Now we have all these spices and like red chilies, then some fresh coconut, some coriander seeds, garlic, peppercorns, a little bit of turmeric powder, then there's fennel seeds or sauf, some cloves, mace, cinnamon. This is 1 onion chopped fine and 1 onion sliced, 1 small tomato, some fresh coriander leaves. So I've just soaked in some water to which salt has been added. Now all these ingredients along with their correct measurements will be in the description box below, so you can go there and see everything. Now I'm just taking about a tablespoon of oil in my pan, and once the oil is hot, I'm going to add in my 4 cloves of garlic, my 1 onion which I've sliced, about 10 dried red chilies. Then I'm going to add my fresh coconut. And we're going to fry all this really well till we get the aroma of the coconut and the onions and the garlic and everything is nice and fried. This is a very important step, that you fry everything very, very well. Now you can also make this masala paste and store it in your refrigerator and in a little larger quantity, and whenever you feel like making this tonak, you can make it. Now I'm just going to add all my whole spices like my fennel seeds, then the coriander seeds, the cloves, the cinnamon, the peppercorns, a little haldi powder, turmeric powder, and I'm going to fry that too in the oil, and then I'm going to mix everything well together and fry everything well together. And then we're just going to let this cool to room temperature, and then we're going to grind this to a very, very fine paste. So remember that the mixture has to cool completely. Don't put a very hot mixture into your mixer pot. And then we're just going to add a little bit of water, say about quarter cup of water. And we're going to grind this to a very smooth paste. Now you get this lovely orange color paste. And then also clean out your mixer for the reserve water. So just add some water, and we're going to use this water too for our recipe. So none of that lovely masala water goes to waste. And then we're just going to add about half a tablespoon of oil to the same pan, and we're going to fry one onion which has been diced. Fry it well. Then we're going to add our small tomato. Let this fry well too. Then we're going to add our masala paste. And we're going to mix everything well together. Let this fry again well till you have some of the masala oil coming to the surface. So this should take you about 3 to 4 minutes to fry the masala well. This is also very important. And now we're going to add some salt to taste. Now I have another Chawli recipe also, which is pretty simple. I'll leave a link below so you can see that recipe too if you want to make that recipe. And now we're just going to add the masala water and add a little more water because we want a little thinner gravy, not a very thick gravy. Or you can add as much as you want. If you like it on the thicker side, then add just little water. If you want a little more, with little more gravy, then add a little more water. And then just give everything a mix. And then just add a little bit of chopped coriander leaves. And then we're just going to cover it and cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes on a very low flame. And that's it, friends. Such a simple recipe, yet so delicious. Give it a try, guys.
Here. Today I'm going to be showing you a recipe on cauliflower. This is an everyday cooking recipe, a very simple recipe but very tasty. Now here I've taken a medium cauliflower, soaked the flour as a whole in salt water, washed it thoroughly and then chopped it up into tiny bits. Always use the leaves of the cauliflower, they are really very healthy. 1 green chili. In my spices I have some cumin seeds or jeera, some mustard seeds or mori or rye, some asafoetida or hing, and some turmeric powder or haldi, and then some salt and sugar to taste. Now here I have my oil heating up in my pan. Once our oil is heated up, we'll first add our mori or rye or mustard seeds. Once they begin to splutter, we'll add cumin seeds or jeera, followed by some asafoetida or hing, some turmeric powder or haldi powder, then goes in our green chilies, and then our cauliflower. Along with the cauliflower leaves. We mix all of this up well. This has to be done on slow to medium flame. Now for cooking this cauliflower, you have to put a lid on top and put some water on top. And again keep it between slow and medium flame. This will help to cook the cauliflower. So we have to wait for another 2-3 minutes and then check on our cauliflower. Now we will check on our flour after 2 or 3 minutes. And you can see that it's started to cook well. So in this way we have to check every 5 to 10 minutes. Again cover it till we feel that our vegetable is nice and cooked. Now after following this same procedure for about 5 or 6 times, it's been about 5 to 10 minutes. And now our cauliflower is actually well cooked. Now it just requires some seasoning. So we'll put some salt to taste and some sugar to taste. A little bit of sugar. Again cover it, mix it. And we'll cover it for only another 2 minutes. Now it's been 2 minutes, we'll switch off our gas and our flour bhaji is all ready. And friends, here it is, the simple flour bhaji. And let me know how you like this recipe in the comments box below. Please subscribe to my channel by pressing the red subscribe button that you see below this video. This is Akshata saying bye until another video. Take care.
So friends, let's start with today's mushroom and bell pepper recipe. Now I've washed my mushrooms really well, and I'm going to just squeeze, kind of turn the stems like this, and they come out very easily. So you need to take off the stems, just twist them a bit, and they come out very easily. Now wash your mushrooms really, really well. And try to use fresh mushrooms. I mean, the day you buy them, try to use them up on the same day. Now that I've done with taking off the stems, I'm just going to cut them up into small cubes like this. So using a nice sharp serrated knife, just chop them up like this. This is a very simple recipe, and it's really, really delicious too. You can have it all by itself also, or as a side dish, or you can have this clubbed up with some garlic bread. Now I have heated up my pan and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil. Now I'm using olive oil for this recipe, but if you are using regular cooking oil also, it will do. Now I'm going to add about 4 cloves of garlic that I've chopped fine. Now with olive oil, you don't need the oil to heat up at all. So the minute you add the oil to the pan, immediately add the garlic. Now we're going to saute the garlic. Next I'm going to be adding 1 medium-sized onion that I've chopped fine. Now saute the onion and the garlic really nicely in the olive oil. If you have olive oil at hand, then use olive oil for this recipe because it does enhance the flavor of this dish. Now I'm going to add the mushrooms, and we need to fry these mushrooms really, really well. So saute the mushrooms really nicely for almost about 2 to 3 minutes. Now you can see that the mushrooms are nicely sauteed. I'm going to add these colorful bell peppers. So I've gone with the yellow, the red and the green. So I've just chopped them up as you regularly chop up a capsicum. And these lovely colorful bell peppers, they really make the dish look good, and they're really, really very good to eat also. They've got a lot of health benefits. And now I'm going to add my green regular capsicum that we use. They always say that we eat with our eyes, so when the dish looks really nice and colorful, you feel like eating it. And of course, it has to be tasty, which we're definitely going to get to. So now that we've sauteed everything really nicely on a low to medium flame, we're going to add all our lovely, spices and herbs to make it, taste even better. So I'm going to start with about a teaspoon of black pepper powder. Now all I've done is just taken peppercorns, roasted them, and ground them to a fine powder. Now I'm going to put some salt to taste. This is some mixed Italian herbs, some chili flakes, and I'm going to mix everything together. So you can add either, mixed Italian herbs if you have them at hand, or even oregano. You can just add that too. Whatever Italian seasoning you have at home, you can use that. Even pasta pizza seasoning will do. Now this is some garlic powder that I have. And of course I'm going to add a little bit of cumin powder. Now if you don't have garlic powder, it's okay, you can skip that. Now all the ingredients will be in the description box below. If you don't have garlic powder, you even get this garlic bread seasoning. You can even substitute that. Or if you don't have it, it's okay, you can just skip it. Now I like to have a big collection of all kind of, herbs and herb mixes. So just saute everything really well. And that's it, guys. Your dish is all ready. So you can, like I said, you can have it all by itself. You can just club it up with some garlic bread or some, burnt garlic rice. Enjoy this dish. It's really, really nice.